Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of the Greek New Testament. We're reading Luke's Gospel, chapter 24, and we're up to the very last section, starting at verse 36. This is the appearance of Jesus to the disciples. We have analogous pericope in Matthew, Mark, John, and again at the beginning of Acts, where Luke recapitulates the story. Tautata auton lalunton autos este en mese auton kai lege autois. Irene humin. Genitive absolute at the beginning here. As they were speaking these things, he himself, this is Jesus, este stood en meso auton, in the midst of them, kai lege autois, and he says to them, peace, understand, be with you, or perhaps just peace to you. Kai pto athentes kai emphoboi genomenoi edokun pneuma theoran. This is from that verb, it's a good classical word, ptoio, and it in classical Greek has more of the sense of to be in a flutter, to be frightened, but running around, waving your arms about and so on. But it's the meaning becomes much softened by the time of biblical Greek. So it has the sense of being alarmed, being frightened, and having become emphoboi, fearful, just en plus phobos, having become fearful. They were thinking that they were seeing a pneuma, or a spirit, perhaps a ghost or something, or a spirit. Kai epen autois tetaragmenoi esti kai dia dialogismoi anabainusin en tekadia humon. And he said to them, why, and we get this periphrastic perfect passive here, which is perfectly good Greek. So you've got the perfect passive from tarasso, a verb we've seen many times here. So why have you been disturbed or troubled? Kai dia te, on an account of what thing do dialogismoi, do debates or thoughts, anabainusin, arise in your heart? It's an odd word to use here for anabino, because the word normally is used of getting on board a ship, but here it's just arise. It's slightly metaphorical use here. Idete tas keras mu kai tus podas mu hoti egoemi autos. Psela faceti me kai idete hoti pneuma saca kai ostia uk eke kathos emithiorete ekonta. Now this is an imperative here, well, probably an imperative. Behold my hands and my feet, that I am he. And again, probably another imperative here. This is a funny verb. It's pselefao is the verb. It's a longer form of a much simpler verb meaning to touch, but this is the form of the verb that is fairly common in the New Testament. So it's touch me, and idete, and see, hoti, that, a spirit, uk eke, does not have flesh and bones, as you see me having. So see that the spirit doesn't have flesh and bones, as you see that I have. Literally, you see me having. Kai tuto apon edexen autois tas kairas kai tus podas. And having said this, he showed to them the hands and the feet. Eti de apistunton auton apotes karas kai thalmasdonton apen autois ekete tibrosimon enthade. Question there. Another genitive absolute. So while they were still disbelieving, from apistio, from joy, and another genitive absolute here, we have to supply our tone, and them being amazed, he said to them, do you have ti brosimon, something edible? Brosimos is an adjective here, just simply meaning edible. It's from a verb meaning, an old verb, bibrosko, to eat. So do you have anything edible here? Anything to eat here? Hoi de epidoken auto ichthuos optumeros. And they gave to him meros, a portion or a piece, again the variant readings here, of cooked fish. Optos is connected with the verb. You get opson for sweetmeats and things. There's a word meaning basically cooked, connected with a verb of cooking. So they gave to him a portion of cooked fish, kai labon enopion auton f again, and having taken it, understood, he ate it, f again from esthio, in front of them, literally before their face. Apen de pros autus, hutoi hoi logoi mu, hus elelasa pros humas eti on sun humin, hotidei plerothenai pantata gegramena entonomo mausios kai tois prophetois kai psalmois peri emu. And he said to them, these are my words which I spoke to you, still being with you. We get participle there from the verb to be. That day it is necessary for all the things written in the law of Moses, and understand in the prophets and in the Psalms regarding me. And then the infinitive is back up here, to be fulfilled. So that it is necessary for all the things written in the law of Moses, the prophets, and the Psalms regarding me, plerethonai, to be fulfilled, aorist passive. Toti di enoixen auton ton nun, to sun ienai tas graphas. And at that time, this is from dianoigo, he opened, as I mentioned before, the anoigo is really a compound of ana, but they augment the alpha at the beginning, even though they should augment the oi in the middle. But that was happening back in classical times even. So at that time, he opened their mind, to plus infinitive, so as to understand. This is from sun hiemi, which is a verb meaning to understand. It has the sense of to put together, so as to understand the scriptures. Kai apen autois hoti hutos gegraptai pathein ton Christon, kai anastenai ek necron te trite hemera. And he said to them, thus it has been written, that the Messiah to suffer, this is from Pasco, this is the aorist infinitive, strong aorist infinitive from Pasco, to suffer and to rise from the dead on the third day. Kai kerukthenai epito onamati autu metanoian es aphesin hamation es pantata ethne. Luke seems to like having these aorist passive infinitives right at the beginning of the sentence and then all the rest of it afterwards, and so that's done the same here. So we have to hold that for a bit. And in his name, forgiveness with regard, repentance with regard or leading to forgiveness of sins among all the Gentiles to be proclaimed. So just to put that together, so to rise from the dead on the third day, and for repentance leading to forgiveness or release from sins in his name, to be proclaimed among all the Gentiles, or to all the Gentiles, or all the nations, perhaps, for ethne. This is the neuter to ethnos, this is the neuter third declension. Axamenoi apohierosuleim humes martyros tuton. Beginning from Jerusalem, and you are witnesses of these things. Kai in brackets idu ego apostelotein angeli patros mu ephumas. And I send the promise, or I am sending, to get the present sense of it, and behold, I am sending the promise of my Father Ephumas upon you, humes de kathisete ente pole heos hu endueste ex hupsus dunamin. But you literally sit in the city. So this is an imperative from kathisdo here. So we would just say remain, but it's literally you sit in the city. Heos hu, until, supply chronu, until the time when. Now this is a passive here, so it's you have been clothed, and it takes an accusative with power. Ex hupsus, from on high. So this is from enduo, and this is the second person plural passive here. And it's subjunctive. So until you might be clothed with power, ex hupsus, from on high. And the final pericope, which is in Mark and also in the Acts of the Apostles, it gets repeated a bit there. Ex ag again, de autus exoheos pros Bathanian, kai eparas tas keras autu eulogesen autus. He led them out, in brackets exo, which is outside, as far as Bethany. Eparas from epairo, having lifted up his hands, he blessed them. From eulogio. Kai egeneto ento eulogein auton autus dieste ap auton kai anafereto est ton uranon. And it came to pass, and again we get ento plus the infinitive, so while he was blessing them, dieste, he stood apart from them, from dihistemi, kai anafereto, he was carried up. This is an imperfect, so almost he began to be carried up, or he was carried up from anaphero into the heaven. Kai autoi pros kunesan tes auton hupestrepsin es hierosulem metakaras megales. And they, worshipping him, they returned to Jerusalem from Hupostrepho, metakaras megales, with great joy. Kai esan diapantos ento hero eulogontes ton theon. And they were, diapantos, we've got to supply chronos here, this is idiomatic through all time, so they were continually blessing God in the temple. And that is the end of chapter 24, and that is our end of our reading of the Gospel of Luke.